Did you know the manufacturer already knew your brand new $48,000 car was going to fail? Not at 100,000 miles, not after years of hard use, but at 3,300 miles. And the failures they didn't catch early were engineered to hit right after your warranty expires. 380,000 car owners just found out the hard way. In this video, I'm exposing the factory secret they don't want you to know. And at the end, I'm showing you exactly what to buy so you never get trapped. Don't be next. Keep watching. The illusion of choice. Walk onto any dealership lot in America right now and tell me what you see. You see Chevrolet, GMC, Buick, Cadillac. You see Ford and Lincoln. You see Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Looks like competition, right? Looks like a free market, working for you, the buyer. Wrong. What you are actually looking at is three corporate conglomerates: General Motors, Ford, and Stellantis. That's it. Three companies controlling the majority of American automotive retail. And for the last 15 years, every single one of them has been running the same playbook. The same cold, calculated business decision, that the buyer will not notice the substitution until the warranty expires. Let me say that again. They are counting on you not noticing until it's too late. Here's what that looks like in practice. A Chevrolet Silverado and a GMC Sierra, same truck, same underbody, same engine, same transmission, different badge, different price tag, by $5,000. A Jeep Grand Cherokee and a Dodge Durango, same platform, a Lincoln Navigator and a Ford Expedition, identical below the belt line. The nameplate is a marketing decision. The engineering is shared. And when that shared platform has a defect, every vehicle built on it carries that defect. Doesn't matter what badge is on the hood. This is exactly why, in 2024, Consumer Reports surveyed 380,000 vehicle owners and found 15 vehicles catastrophically failing straight from the factory. Not at 100,000 miles, not after years of hard use. From the factory. GM is replacing transmissions at 3,300 miles on brand new 2025 models. A Chrysler Pacifica, a minivan marketed to families, shifted itself into park at just 380 miles, locked the brakes, locked the steering wheel, and completely shut down, with two small children inside. The owner is now afraid to drive it, worried it could happen again, in traffic. A $61,000 Volvo XC60 plug-in hybrid, complete electrical failure. Stranded, towed. A Genesis GV80 owner reported 5 dead batteries in 5 months, even after dealer replacement. These aren't edge cases. These are patterns, documented, repeated, ignored. This is why recall numbers are exploding. One bad design decision doesn't affect one model. It affects an entire ecosystem of vehicles, sold under completely different names, at completely different price points. You thought you were getting a premium product. You got a rebadged version of the same compromised engineering, with a luxury price tag slapped on top. The real cost they never show you. Before we even talk about the factory, let's talk about the financial trap that starts the second you sign. Because the sticker price, that's just the beginning. Dealer fees, destination, prep, documentation, quietly add $3,000 to $5,000, often rolled into your loan without negotiation. Then comes financing. Dealers commonly mark up rates by 1 to 2%. On a $48,000 car, that's about $1,200 extra per year, over $5,000 across 5 years. They profit twice, on the car and the loan. Next, insurance. Full coverage on a new $48,000 vehicle runs $2,200 to $2,800 annually, often triple a 10-year-old car. Over 3 years, that's $4,500 to $6,000 more, driven by costly tech and higher total loss risk. Now add it up. A new $48,000 car costs about $68,000 over 3 years when you include depreciation, fees, interest, and insurance. A $12,000 paid-off 10-year-old car? About $15,200 total. That's a $52,800 difference, and it's coming straight out of your pocket. The factory floor secret. Now let's go inside the factory, because what's happening in there will make your blood boil. It's called throughput rate manufacturing, and it is the single most destructive force in modern vehicle production. Here's how it used to work. Assembly line workers were paid by the hour. Quality control inspectors, actual human beings, stood on that floor with one job: stop bad vehicles from leaving the plant. That model was slower, it cost more per unit, and it produced far fewer defects. Now, the only metric that matters is units per shift. How many cars roll off that line before the clock hits zero? The plant manager's bonus is tied to it. The line supervisor's performance review is built around it. If the line stops, money stops. If a worker spots a defect and pulls the stop cord, the entire downstream assembly sequence is disrupted. The shift quota takes a hit. So what happens? Flagging a problem becomes a career risk. Ignoring it becomes the path of least resistance. And that is why technicians are finding this stuff every single day. Improperly torqued suspension components. Coolant lines routed directly against sharp frame edges that vibrate through them over 3 years. Electrical harnesses bundled with the wrong gauge wire for the load they're carrying. Here's how deep the complexity problem goes. Modern vehicles now run on 100 million lines of code, more than a commercial jet. And that complexity is not just theoretical, it's a liability. The electronics failure rate in vehicles from 2020 to 2023 has climbed to 11%, up from just 4% in models from 2010 to 2014. Nearly 3 times worse, in vehicles that cost more than ever. And when something goes wrong with that software, good luck getting it covered. Over a quarter of all warranty claims filed for electronics and software failures are denied outright. The fine print leaves most sensors, modules, and software failures completely uncovered, even when the car is brand new. Wired to fail, precisely 18 months after the powertrain warranty expires. This is not sloppy workmanship. This is the business plan. They build the failure into the vehicle. They time it to land outside your coverage window, and then they profit from the repair. Your dealership's service department isn't a support system, it's a revenue stream, and you are the product. If you're enjoying the content, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. The engine they knew would fail. Now we get to the part that should genuinely make you angry. Because this isn't just negligence. This is documented, deliberate, pre-planned engineering fraud. The most fatal engineering decision in the modern American vehicle is the turbocharged direct injection engine. On paper, these engines look incredible. Small displacement, high output, impressive fuel economy numbers right there on the window sticker. Manufacturers love them. You know why? Because they test beautifully. They sell beautifully. What they don't tell you is what happens at mile 40,000. Here's the technical breakdown. And pay attention because this is the part they're hiding from you. In a traditional port-injected engine, fuel is sprayed into the intake port before it enters the combustion chamber. That fuel washes over the intake valve, keeping it clean. In a direct injection engine, fuel goes straight into the combustion chamber. Nothing washes the intake valve. Nothing. So carbon deposits build up. Slowly, silently, inevitably. By mile 40,000 to 60,000, those deposits are thick enough to restrict airflow. The engine starts misfiring, power drops, oil consumption spikes. And the fix? A service called walnut blasting. $400 to $800. Not covered under warranty because the manufacturer classifies carbon buildup as a maintenance item, not a defect. They knew this would happen. Their own engineers documented it in internal testing. They chose not to disclose it on the window sticker. They sold you the fuel economy numbers the engine achieves before the buildup begins, and said absolutely nothing about what it costs to maintain those numbers after. But wait, it gets worse. Because virtually every mainstream engine sold since 2018 isn't just direct injection, it's turbocharged direct injection. And that turbocharger adds a second failure point that is just as predictable and just as deliberately excluded from your warranty. Turbochargers run at extreme temperatures. When you shut the engine off, heat soaks back through the oil feed lines, cooking the oil sitting inside them. That cooked oil breaks down into carbon deposits that accumulate inside the turbocharger housing. After 5 to 7 years, the turbocharger bearing fails. Replacement cost? $1,500 to $3,000. Warranty coverage? Zero. Because the failure lands well past the powertrain window. and is classified as a wear item by the same legal team that wrote the warranty. Your $35,000 vehicle has 2 documented failure points, both known before production, both engineered to fall outside warranty coverage. By design, the warranty trap. So maybe you're thinking, I'll just get the extended warranty. I'll protect myself. I'll buy the certified pre-owned. I'll be covered. No, you won't. When you purchase an extended warranty, whether from the manufacturer or a third-party administrator, you are entering a coverage structure that was designed by attorneys. Attorneys whose entire job was to minimize payout exposure, not protect your investment. And here's the number that proves it. More than 1 in 4 warranty claims are denied, over 25%. Usually because the warranty excludes software issues or demands proof of a manufacturing defect that the manufacturer's own legal team will fight you on. Every claim you file is reviewed against an exclusion list that runs to dozens of pages in the fine print. Carbon buildup on intake valves? Excluded. Maintenance item. Turbocharger failure due to oil coking? Excluded. Wear item. Transmission shudder caused by a documented software calibration defect? Covered only if you can prove the dealer failed to perform a specific reflash within a specific service window. That was never communicated to you. Read that last one again. They have a known software defect. There's a fix. They didn't tell you about it. And when your transmission fails, they use their failure to communicate as the reason to deny your claim. And it gets worse when you try to go outside the dealer network. Many independent mechanics now refuse cars made after 2020 altogether, forced out by encrypted diagnostics and dealer-only tools. The annual cost for a single brand diagnostic subscription now averages $2,200, an expense few independent shops can justify. So routine repairs that once cost $600 now top $2,000, with no option but to return to the dealer. The same dealer that sold you the car, the same dealer whose service department is a revenue stream. You have no leverage, no alternatives, no exit. The manufacturer's legal team spent years constructing an exclusion architecture, specifically built around the failure modes their engineering team identified in pre-production testing. They knew the failure points. They built the warranty around them. You paid for coverage that was designed to cover everything, except the things most likely to break. And while all of this is happening, you're still making the monthly payment on a vehicle sitting at the dealership, waiting for a back-ordered part that the service advisor told you would arrive in 6 to 8 weeks. That was 4 months ago, what you should actually buy. Enough bad news. Start thinking like an auditor, not a consumer, because the badge means nothing compared to the engineering underneath it. And here's the ranking. Number 3, current generation Japanese vehicles, specifically Toyota, Honda, or Subaru, in a naturally aspirated configuration. If the model you're considering is available with a non-turbocharged engine option, buy that option. Pay the fuel economy penalty. It is worth every single penny. The naturally aspirated Toyota 2.5-liter 4-cylinder is the same basic architecture that has been running in Camrys and RAV4S for 15 years. The carbon buildup issue still exists, but it's manageable. The turbocharger failure point doesn't exist at all. You are buying the slower, less impressive version of the vehicle on paper, and the more reliable version in practice. That is the trade you want to make. Number 2, pre-2018 domestic vehicles, specifically the last era of widespread port injection engines. Ford's naturally aspirated 3.5-liter V6 from the 2011 to 2017 F150. The GM 5.3-liter V8 in any configuration before the active fuel management system was introduced in 2019. A system that deactivates cylinders to save fuel and destroys lifters at 80,000 miles on a documented pattern failure. The Chrysler 5.7-liter Hemi before the multi-displacement system became standard. These are the last generation of American engines designed to run 200,000 miles without a major intervention. They are not fuel efficient by modern standards. They will not win a comparison test in a magazine. The bones are built the way bones used to be built. Number 1, Japanese domestic market imports. And number 1, this is the best-kept secret in the value vehicle market, and most buyers have absolutely no idea it even exists. The Japanese domestic market import. The United States has a 25-year import rule. Any vehicle manufactured 25 years ago or older can be legally imported and titled in the US. The overlanding community has known about this for years, using it to bring in Toyota camper vans and Land Cruisers. But it applies to every vehicle category. Right-hand drive Nissan Skylines, Toyota Land Cruisers, Honda Stepwagons with 40,000 original miles, entering the legal import window right now. Here's why this matters. These vehicles were maintained under Japan's Shaken inspection system, a government vehicle inspection program so rigorous that owners often sell their vehicles with low mileage simply because they can't justify the inspection cost as the vehicle ages, a standard that does not exist in the United States. A 1999 Toyota Land Cruiser 80 Series, 4.2-liter inline-six diesel engine, an engine designed for commercial truck service, rated for 500,000 miles between major overhauls. You can import and title that vehicle right now for $25,000 to $40,000. That same vehicle, new today in American trim, costs $90,000, and it's powered by a twin-turbocharged V6 that requires premium fuel and a $2,200 turbocharger service at year 7. You are not buying an old car. You are buying a machine that is already fully depreciated, maintained to a government standard that does not exist in the United States, carrying a drivetrain architecture so overbuilt for its application that 25 years of use barely registers on the wear curve. Most recalls for brakes, airbags, and powertrain surface in the first 2 years of a vehicle's life. By the time a JDM import enters the legal window at 25 years, that recall activity has long since flattened out. The repair record is an open book. No surprises, no hidden software failures, no encrypted diagnostics locking out your mechanic. Parts are easy to source, affordable, and the independent shop down the street can actually work on it. $25,000 to $40,000 versus $90,000 for a more reliable vehicle with a proven drivetrain, maintained to a higher standard. The era of the honest American car is over. They're counting on you to chase the new car smell, while the failures are already built in. Don't fall for it. Chase the paid-off title. Check the total cost of ownership. And never underestimate an engine overbuilt in 1999 that's still proving it today. And if you enjoy the content, smash that like button and subscribe for more auto content. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.